This presentation on a practical approach to anti-bribery methods for auditors and consultants comes to us from Marco Pardave, a delegate to TAG 302 for ISO 19011-2018. Marco is also chief of the Mexican delegation of the STTF Casco for the translation to Spanish on processes. He is chief of the Mexican and US TAG 302 delegates to ISO TC 176, ISO TC 207, ISO TC 215, and the ISO IEC 27000 JTC1. Marco is an expert in integrated supply chain security management. He has more than 40 years of experience in assessing company effectiveness and implementing solutions such as TQM, SQA, Lean, Six Sigma, ISO management systems, and risk assessments. Marco's professional achievements include positions as a VP of Operations, Director, Manager, Consultant, Assessor, Auditor, Trainer, and Certification Manager. And with that, take it away, Marco.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So we are going to try to speak a little bit the importance of the anti-bribery methods with different approach. For example, specifically for auditors and consultants. Any questions, feel free to write down, and then later on we are going to be in contact with you to answer and clarify. Okay, the main issue why we create the standard is because it's in focus on design, establish, implementing, and support everything regarding improvement to anti-bribery culture with the organization. When we talk improvement, means you have to measure. You cannot implement a management anti-bribery management system if you don't know have the objectives. But this is part of the presentation. The other one, what type adequate controls are going in methodology are going to use. So in this case, in this presentation, you will see the results of some methodology that was published. People were in jail. The other one that we recuperate the money that those people stole. The other one is better ability to detect briberies. That's going to be preventive. That's why it's another issue, very important on methodology on hardware and software. And at the end is to the reduction of the incidents in every first place. So based on that, United Nations Convention, they develop a different types of methodologies, and the book read that is here. The book read here, you will see how it's working. They explain a little bit some general, more theoretical part, but they can be a very good help for you. The other one is the support ambitious anti-bribery commitments at the country level. So in this case, this organization, you see the red, all the red one, is the biggest corruption areas that we have to work. So in these people that the person that come to be the consultants and the certification bodies and auditors, we have a plain job to do. So it's one of the good things that we can have here. The next one is enable to better cross-country learning and key anti-corruption subthemes within OGB. The OGB is part of the Transparency International. They have a lot of list of methodologies. Some of them are theoretical methodologies. And the key issue, these theoretical methodologies, is when we start using the information system. To coordinate action for global forums and the national levels anti-corruption. So in this case, we're going to invite you to participate in another organization that we are going to talk only in the results and success of failures of the implementation of the anti-corruption systems. And what's happened with this one, the corruption cause and solutions. Some typical example is the what's called the mind political corruption, that everybody's unhappy with the politicians. So we start implementing some methods in cybersecurity, and we started having a little success, not as we expected, with start hacking and controlling with ethical hacker in order to avoid this type of corruptions. Additionally, this methodology is based on the Transparency International offer free seminars and methodologies straight to the universities, because the idea is to prepare the future. So the corruption university setting may take the form the lecturer accepting cash for high marks, like the one about 6 months ago. Some high artists, they bribery some of the professors to get a good grades. This is something like this, but the idea is to implement in every one of the areas. But what means the most four important principles in the United Nations Convention was prevention, that every country is obligated to take anti-corruption measure in public and private sectors. This is a mandatory everyone. So if we are going to audit countries, you feel free to request the program that cover those four items: prevention, international cooperation. Is United Nations and international transparency are offers some economical support in some countries to try to avoid this type of briberies. And the other, we combine and we interchange information on the criminalization, that if anything happen, we can link in different countries names or traceability or nicknames in order to try to catch the people in the problem. The other one, the accessory recovery. The asset recovery is fundamental principle of the United Nations Convention on Agency Corruption, that you can feel free to go into the web page, and you can download a lot of very good information. So we, as a consulting or a certification body, this is part of the bylaws and methodology that we can request, or they can be aligned. Any company they want to get certified in anti-bribery, this is another source of new criteria. Okay, we have a very general formula to measure the level of corruption. The annual cost of bribery is a small subset of corruption. Is estimated to be between 1.5 trillion to 2 trillion, or 2% of the world gross domestic product. So it's a lot. But how we can, if it's a lot, it's a huge opportunity as a consultant and certification auditors to find out exactly what is the objective of every company that they want to implement the system. So in this case, one of the corruption formula was created for Robert Kilgore, is CMDNA, and M is decision monopoly. That is one of the issues in many Latin American countries, so communist countries. The other one is the discount, and the process take, and the accountability and controls. As you can see, this is the last statistics, 2018, the level of corruption by country, and this is the level of corruption. This is yes. Okay. This is the way that we are going to start working. For example, in Latin America, you can see as well Australia, United States is in 80, Australia in 77, and Yemen is 40, Syria is 13. All these countries is in a very bad shape, as you see. Anything below 70 is very complicated. The next one, this is one of the principles. ISO 37001 is even more relevant and transcendent that ISO 9001 is a relevant quality anti-bribery management system work. This is I want to be very clarified here. When we start the standard ISO 9001, everybody started getting certification in 3 months, in 1 month. Either the people was not competent, either the auditors didn't know well the standard, and just for to make business, the people start getting a lot of certification in immediately. What are the results was not effective, and then in the last meeting, in the last meeting that we made a survey in ISO after we liberate the ISO 9001, the people reported that 81% of the organization, they didn't bring any value of the certification, only 19%. And when we audit the 19%, they say that it's an incredible management system, that they bring money and they bring a better image with the customer. So based on that, my reflection is that it start happening again. We are going to reproduce the same pattern, the ISO 9001 with ISO 37001. We just finished the criteria to make audits in July, in August, and in September the company start getting the certification without any criteria, knowing criteria. So my statement is, if we keep going like this, we're going to lose confidence and will impact both the standard and credibility, as they have both been used by institution or use of certificate as a shield to hide the no quality or no ethics. So please be aware. We have to be aware of this system, because we don't want this one to come back again. As you see here, Nicaragua is 25, so it's a grand part that we can be able to reduce. Another part of the recommendation that we have here is, was to win the battle the corruption, start right from the first time. That sounds nice, but how we are going to do that? We are going to do that. Therefore, the consultant certification body must be considered to prepare the gap analysis of the anti-bribery management system with the following areas of expertise. This is the beginning of everything. So, and that is a very critical, I guess, based on my experience and another colleague's experience, how to make the team that is going to make the gap analysis. Okay, so this team is going to be, you have to take care, has to be one of the auditors, has to be well knowledgeable in legal and judicial regulatory affairs, because at the end, this is the one to avoid. So the people the auditor doesn't have enough knowledge of this one, or bring a technical expert, the gap analysis will not be well productive. The other member is somebody to know well financial and accountability affairs. With this one, we have been getting a lot of good results, because we call it, they make a make of the financial statement. They prepare the financial statement for 2 credits. They prepare a financial statement with a fake documentation. So this is another part of the transparency. And the IT communication and cybersecurity affairs, that you will see part of this, part of the thing that we start doing when we make the standard, when we start making the gap analysis, is how to control the communications, the videos, how many computers already are hacking, and the customer, they didn't have any idea, and all the information is linking. And he believed that it's somebody inside of the organization that is the one that is cheating the organization, and it's not, was hacking. So that's why we had to run a scan in the system, and you will see how many no conformities, or how many potential findings we can get. And the last one is the specialist of management system. Any quality management system guy, or OSHA guy, or environmental guy, says management system. And everyone is very knowledgeable. Most of the lead auditors and auditors, they know this one. This is the steps: prevent, detect, address bribery through the implementation on anti-bribery. Policies, we have to audit the policy, if it's applicable or not, they have objective or not, if the interested parties are aligned with the policies, the type of methods, they have training program, and the other very important is aligned with the expert. Every expert has to know and to be very competent in risk assessment. The risk assessment is the basic in order to start identify any input of any vendor or inputs to the process, since the quality, since the objectives of the company. And then the other one is create a position to implement and provide due diligence on financial control. That's why it's important DB. DB is the one of the key persons that is going to help us to this one. And the last one, institute procedures for reports and research. We had to think in process improvement. So it is the only issue here. If we combine all these experts, what is the objective? What is the premises? The key issue. If we want to create and implement a robust anti-bribery management system, as less the human factor interact, more robust the system will be. So now we try to avoid a lot of documents to see face to face, and now with the cybersecurity and with IT communication, we combine those information, and everything we try to do by systems. And if by system is easy to detect, and is going to be better for the management system to control the level of risk. So this is one of the good priorities. The next is like a general methodology, is to if it's achievable or not, is first to control the environment, everything around the surroundings, the police, the communications, the people that is working, the vendors, or everything around the objective that we have. And then the ethical awareness training. When we're talking about ethical awareness training, I know it's not just the awareness for the awareness. It's not the ethical. It's what is some seminars, some training, and with this training, it's just to be aware that it's important. The ethics, you're born with that one. So this is one of the critical issues. The other one is sanction endurance. If not have the benefits, and the other one the hammer, the other one is the flower. Any system has to be like that. And like in OSHA, for example, in OSHA is mandatory the sanction and have to endorse, but it has to be very clear to let them know that everybody what are going to be the impact if they do something wrong. It has to be very clear. It has to be very transparent the process. Okay, if we add every one of these like a building blocks, these building blocks are going to give you. They were going to try to reduce. So will be less corruption. So we have to give courses here. The part of the audit, identify the risk assessment here, to train the people, internal and external vendors, and then to be clear with all the sanctions that we're going to have, and has to be published and everything very transparent. When we're talking about transparency, you will see in the examples that we already implemented in different countries why it's important the transparency. And one of the key allies that we have here is the news. Okay, so now the quantifiable objectives and their impact, how to establish the objectives. And the other question is reduce cost and redundancy. It can be one of the objectives. Protect the organization good name and minimize findings. This is like a general one, but you have to see reduce cost based on the amount that you expected to reduce is the amount that you have to consider in order to make the investment for the consultant. So, okay, it's a typical, okay, we're going to implement an anti-bribery management system. How much we are going to invest? And the question for the top management, okay, this is, I don't know, I can give you the 5% or 1% of the budget. But how to determine, how to calculate, this is one of the parts very, very important. So this is the methodology. Must be measurable, achievable, and applicable in any environment. So how can you determine the budget or the implementation of the environmental management system? which will be and how to set the goals and the level of risk of the goals based on the goals, based on the level of risk. When you make the risk assessment, you identify the level of risk of the total company, okay? Based on the priority, you make the A, B, and C. A, if the scale is from 1 to 50, and from 25 to 50 is the critical one that is going to affect to us. On those cases, we have to take the decision, the political decision, but how much is the impact of that one? Okay, within that, we are going to see here from small to large enterprises, the impact means between 2% and 50% from the economic and losses that affect the organization and can be quantified as the impact of corruption. So I hope this one is be very clear. If we already heard in the news that one company suffered some losses for $20 million in economical losses, okay, from 2 to 15% can be the selected budget to reduce this potential risk for that one. And from this one, they can hire the consulting, and they know they can set the objectives based on the results of the risk assessment scheme. So this impact is also related to what percentage of the risk level is found or could be found versus how much can it be reduced until to know the budget. So this is a typical questions that is they say, no, it's too much money, so don't put any electronics, don't put any hardware, just documents. And then the certification bodies, some of them start auditing papers. And the most important that we had to be considered, as happened in the past with the ISO 9001, everything was paper. This is more risky than ISO 9001. It's more than papers. Is devices, policies, laws that we have to change, by laws that we have to change. So that is one of my hardest advice here is take in consideration these statements. Identify the possible risks as a function of understanding first organization and in the context of the objectives. Remember, when we're talking about anti-bribery can be from inside or from outside. So in either one, in both, we have to be very clear, and we have to be defined based on the objective results. To apply the Pareto method, give priorities versus budget and company needs. So if you have already the general objective that the company wants to reach, and then with this information, we make a Pareto because it can be different objectives. So we use the 20-80, this is the Pareto law, and this is going to be give the idea if we can cover the 20% of the most important, the effect will be 85% effective, the system. So we have to take in consideration this part. So thus, the anti-bribery methods are aimed to avoid, lower, or eliminate, if it's possible, the definition of the audit process results in the discovery of corruption through the impact of briberies. So this is the end of the results. Here is we have some statements from United Nations, and I will clarify. I will put a small video with some music. They say there are several anti-bribery methods that have been published in prestigious organizations, both public and private, as the U.S. Department of Justice and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SECFPA, from 2012. So I will put a click, and I will speak a little bit about the YouTube presentation. It's how to stop the corruption. Are three ways. The first way is bribery is just one form of corruption. People, especially the poor, get hurt. Power of the people create pathways that give citizens relation to the engaged. And the other one, the number two, identify priorities or find solutions. The number three is called the red tape, bring together the formal information and to change behavior. And then you will see the charts how growing up. And the number four is to use technology, as we already spoke, to build dynamic and continuous exchange between government, citizen, business, media, academia, and civil society. And the media is an incredible 80% good result with the media. After to see the first examples, you will see how important the media is playing in order to reduce the anti-bribery. This is 7. Act globally, interchange communication with another countries and other methods. Build capacity for those who need it most. So we have the training and learn. Perfect. So you can see this one in the World Bank. It's a small video. And let's keep going. And based on these results, so the first is commitment from senior management and clearly articulated policy against corruption. So when the people start asking me, hey, Marco, how we can start implemented? Okay, the first one is to isolate you in order to see your potential risk, either including your family, your friends, and competitors. So it has to be very clear, very well clear defined. And then the code of conduct and compliance policy and procedures. This is the other, we have to be clear, is in the video too. Oversight, autonomy, and resources. If we don't have resources, we cannot implement it in a very effective way. That's why we have to be very clear. If it's a small one, let's make the best with the thing that I have. Either with attitude, we can start reducing attitude and policy. We can stop or try to reduce a little bit anti-bribery. It's not just technology. As I spoke before, we had the risk assessment is the beginning, how we are going to give the priorities, to identify priorities in the implementation process, or in the auditing process is we are going to audit any risk critical item. As well, training and continuous advice with third parties. You have to be very clear with incentives and disciplinary measures. As I said before, most of the companies, they are talking about disciplinary measure, but they don't talk about incentives. If you want to implement the anti-bribery, you have to have a budget for incentives. If not, it's not going to work as effective as we are looking for. And then the third-party due diligence and payments. This is so important too, because you cannot audit yourself. If you cannot audit yourself, we call it blind workshop. So it's so important, the third party. That's why the certification bodies, the consulting is going to be like a third party. They can make you the evaluation, and then you can do by yourself if you want, but with the results of the gap analysis. Additionally, in a continuous way, is a confidential reporting and internal investigation. You have to hear right procedures and the effective of the procedures of the root cause analysis. When we talk about internal investigation, and it's not just about evidence like any finding, we have to find out who is going to make the interview, and to know like a background check. We make a background check to our personnel, and either to know a background check of of the vendors that they want to be they want to make this type of reports. As you know, the cybersecurity is an ongoing continuous improvement. Every day we have a new methodologies that can be applied, and every time too is going to be more cheap and inexpensive. So now you can put a camera set, a video camera and audio set, very inexpensive, that you can record it. And this is one of the biggest successes that we make in the audit, in one of the implementation that we make in some of the countries. You will see in the cases later on. And then merge and acquisition and due diligence and post-acquisition integration. When you merge an acquisition, you have to be aware what's happened with the partners. The partners has to be, in some cases, the partner is part of the problem more than part of the solution. So we have to be aware, to be very clear, in a very clear way. You have to write this information, and then ensure that the supplier is not known to have engaged in bribery transaction in the past. It's part of the background check. If you make a good background check, you will find that one, this issue, before hire the vendors. So, and who is going to approve the vendor is another potential people that can to be aligned or negotiate for anti-bribery negotiation. So we have to be aware of that. And finally, here in the 12th, is ensure that the provider has a code of conduct. We have to write that one. That is not 100% assured, but they give you the rights to put a one person in jail or to fire her. Policy is very clear. The policy has to be very clear, and you have to be sure that every policy is known. And in these cases, we suggest the people that has to sign that he understood how to apply this policy. As well, the procedures has to be well documented and friendly. And then when you apply this one to the government, it's going to be easier because everything is a lot of procedures to the government, but nobody know how to make the procedures, or nobody understand the procedures. That's why we have to be sure that the policy is adequate to the system. And in a quarterly, or you define the frequency, auditing and conduct financial analysis of the suppliers, payment system, and relation with the government and official. And it, not just here is financial analysis to the vendors. You have to make too any internal bonus that you give to the internal personnel. You have to be, if he really won this properly, this reward. This is the first case that we make in the city against corruption, and for transparency in the city of Veracruz. This method, this county has more than 3 million people living there, and we implemented the management system when there was not created this standard. We use for this standard we use the standard from 19,600 for assessment. The other one was the Iowa 4, that is for ISO 9001 for governments, for municipalities. Now is 18,091. So this is one of the parts that is important to be combined, and it was incredible success, this project. And as I said before, was the 18,091, and we used the Global Compact United Nations 10 principles and the ISO 9016 for international transparency. When we combine this one, is the beginning of the ISO 37001. From those standards, born this standard. And here you can see we make a collection. We put every manager of the county, the transportation, the bid manager was here in front to everyone in order to give the reports. So was very and then was a so huge success this all the methodologies that we wrote here in this book. They call in Business Against Corruption, was published for United Nations Global Compact. In the page 166, you can see the details, every step that how we make in order to avoid anti-bribery and to select the right people to the county. Like you can see, the way that we control this one, we implement particularly in the Treasury Department, in the Treasury Department, because this is we control all the money in this area. So that's why we select to implement ISO 9000 and anti-transparency system in the Treasury Department election. And this is one of the advices that we already explained to you. So you can see here, for example, the transparency regulation was implemented with lobbying in procurement committee, live session transmission of committee, and lobby board. So every meeting that they have in the council was published on real time in YouTube. So everybody knows what every one of the representatives they are doing, and every penny, every dollar that the paying taxes was connected to the web page of the municipality, and the people know exactly how much money come in, how much money come out, and they want to know how much money come out, where it come from. They make a click. Any citizen they can do that. They could do that, and then they see what was the approval project. So with this one, we reduce the bids vendors. Always was 3 or 4 the only vendors that they win the bid. Now after the implementation, we got a huge list for more than 50 vendors that now we share more responsibility. So you can go later on in detail. We put the computer control for vendor invoices. We tracking payments to suppliers. We send information alarms. This one that I put here is because this is here, Mark. This one is here because they put one theoretical method of anti-bribery was every check has to be signed 5 times for different persons. Okay, in order to be sure that nobody steal the money. Okay, you know what's happened with one of those guys. They didn't sign. They put the check in below his desk, and start passing the time. The vendors ask for his payment, and the administration people say no. One of the consuls they have that one. So and the return was after 90 days or 120 days the people paid. So in order the vendor was totally despair. So they had to look for these persons, and this person asked, okay, you give me 10%. I can sign right now. So this is bribery totally. So that's why we avoid this one, and the population was very happy. Was a complete success. Like you can say, see, for example, they provide you with goods or service that involve government approval, committed to ship products across the borders and through customers, and committed to dealing with government officials and transparency on behalf of them. The other case that now we're talking about 37,001 was one of the first certification of company. Was this an Italian company? That's a public records. You can see the link, and when we make the link, you can see how they make the advertising. It was the first and most important company, the first that they got the ISO 37001 anti-bribery management system. Okay, they said follow the rules, and after that, in the next, the same organization, after several months, you can see the report. Italian prosecutors have reportedly charged Eni and its CEO Claudio Di Scali with international corruption over the controversial acquisition of an offshore block in Nigeria in 2011. And then in Eni from June 2005 to May 2014, when it was a success by Descalzi, according to the Financial Times. So what means that why the auditors, they didn't found this one? Why the certification body, they didn't detect it? So that's as I say, we need a specialist, at least 4 specialists, in order to make a positive and productive gap analysis. One auditor, one certification body, we cannot everything. So we have to be a little modest and to try to make a nice teamwork in order to make the risk assessment. Another issue, exactly the same in another company, was in June 2018, the certification company signed a no persecution agreement with DOJ related to the violation of FCPA, implying briberies to officials in Libyan government and their families. And you can see the advertising here. They publish, oh, sorry, it's no more. It's not connected. Let's go back. But it's one of the companies, the certification body, they put, so in this case, the impact when a certification body certify a company and then somebody found that they violate and they are corrupted since more than 3 years ago and was not fined, the image of the certification body is going down. So we have to be aware, certification bodies and auditors, that this is quite different and it's more critical than any ISO 9000 certification. So be aware. That's why my suggestion and recommendation is to prepare a good team in order to make the gap analysis and to clarify the opening meeting and close meeting the results of the audit. Here you can see in June 4 in Maryland-based Lake Mention and try into a non-persecution agreement with DOJ to resolve PCP. Exactly the same. And was a lot of millions, look, 64 millions, consisting criminal penalties, plus 32.6 millions of disgorgement. So that's the result. So everybody lost here. And we lost credibility. The ISO 37001 lost credibility. So we try, guys. The idea of this presentation is to try to avoid as much as possible and to be well prepared, either the consulting, the certification body, and the auditors. Another example was that implement in Peru. We went to make the presentation. The government was totally in love with the system, embraced, because they know that if something happened. So based on that, they allowed me to start implementing the system, and that was the results after finish the first month of implementation, that we called all the Supreme Court justice judges. We call in, and when they were in the meeting, in that moment was auditing every one of the facilities of the Supreme Courts in the 24 states of Peru. And you know what's happened. You can see this manifestation, and I will make a click here. That you can see the online report.
Does more than catch errors.
Online report. This is a commercial. Moment. Yeah, I skip the commercial. Aquí explaining in Spanish. The new president of the Supreme Court of Justice find out when they gave a strict commission, and you can see here. You can see the video. You can see the one of the Supreme Court's judges. They went to the jail, and the population was totally angry. This is the administration of the Supreme Court, and they said now they are going to make the traceability, applying the anti-corruption methods. I will explain in detail what are the let me see.
Su renuncia, asegurando que los audios en los que se puede escuchar su nombre no tienen contenido ilegal o que vaya en contra.
Let me go back to the presentation. And so, what is the issue here? Well, the first thing is we went to make to pick up all the videos and recorders that we have in every Supreme Court of Justice. The Saturday we saw, but one of the key issues here is we call the media. We call the media in order to see the videos together with the media. Could you're going to ask why you do that? Because in order to be sure about the transparency, we have to be very clear. We cannot hide the information. It's a lot of forces, well-organized forces of corruption in all over the world. So in every area, a lot of forces, they can stop the videos and say, no, don't publish the videos. If they don't publish the videos and then the videos disappear, the evidence is gone. So if you want to make this one right at the first time, in every audit, these cases that it was already went to recover some information and to evaluate the results of the video, that was incredible. So more than 300 people was in jail and still doing, because again the traceability of the part is part of the anti-bribery methods to dig who was before in this position and to keep going. This is another one very similar, but they were established as Supreme Audit programs, IT system including all the communication devices and programs, all voice and video recording devices. So this one was the one that we pick up, analyze, and the media was with us. When we saw, everybody was totally surprised. And in the same time, the Sunday morning, all the videos was in the media. So nobody could escape about this corruption. So that's why the digital communications was an email to the level of trial video recording analysis. So we are asked for a specific law to get the authorization and to dig and go inside to the computers of every one of the people that is in this organization chain. So we analyze with tracking videos, with tracking emails. We got into the bank accounts of all the people that was involved here, and we right now they starting the process of recover a lot of money. So that's why, as I say, media publication to ensure the transparency of the process, to avoid blocking by external or internal power holders, follow the links to avoid blanking by internal power holders, follow links. That is usually to do that. In another organization that they didn't want me to call the media when we was going to make already the audit. What's happened? We found this one, but disappeared. So the other one, in the indictment of the magistrate's position high on this justice system in Peru has caused a severe crisis on the judicial system. You can go into the web page or any newspaper in Peru. You can see the cases. You can download more than 20, 30 cases based on this action that we make. So based on that, like we say here, the crisis in the Peruvian justice system continues after the publication of audio recordings involving magistrates in probably corruption cases, and the Minister of the Justice was forced out on July 19. The Minister of the Judicial Power and National Magistrate Council resigned, and then they are in a trial now. The other issue is the audio recording scale beside the Justice Minister has forced to dismissal of X% of Supreme Court justice among the President. So it's a very delicate issue. And some of them start paying some fees. The audio recording scandal, beside the justice minister, has forced to dismissal the Aposenta Supreme Court, like is here, and the president of the Supreme Court involved in asking for a 10,000 bribe as payment to name a persecutor. So part of the bribery. So everything was recorded. And the other one, this link was, nobody expected that some of them was in connection with the drug cartel. So the drug cartel was connected with the judge about the port. So, and everything we found when we start digging and giving the traceability of the emails, as well the traceability of the videos. So, like he said, the methods applied were from modification of some regulation and laws regarding telephone interceptions, authorization by the judge, use of computer technology and ethical hacking. We start hacking since United States. We start hacking some of this one and other places. Intervention of the telecommunication system as a recording, accessing your phone, accounts and videos, and back statement to traceability from the last 3 years and another action. Why is important 3 years? Because one is in the moment, but the corruption is a system. It's corruption management system. So we start digging 1 year ago and 2 years ago, what was the judge that was in this position and the managers of those organizations. And we start tracking, and we found a complete network that is, you can see here. This aquí some pictures and photos of the people from that they put drugs into the bank. So my dear friends, you have to be very careful in this one. When we start digging like this and start see the results are good, I guess a good anti-bribery implementation methods, you start receiving anonymous, they start trade you by telephone, anonymous, that you must stop, or they will give you something, they will kill you, they will hijacking. So be aware of that one. It's very important. And as a summary, because it's almost the last part, is corruption risk category, you can see more and more methods of corruption, of bribery. For example, what is the definition? Examples of where the risk could be affect you. Travel agency maybe use a conduit to pay briberies to customer of level travel incentives. So in different areas that you can apply methodologies. Your PC agencies, certain countries, maybe bribery state-owned media for special media coverage. Your marketing providers may be engaged in a commercial bribery to obtain information about your competitors or your products in a market. So in any place, for sure, you know that it doesn't matter the type of business. In every business can be corruption. So we as a consultant, as a certification body, we have to be sure that when we are going to make the risk assessment, is a key element, but we have to be with the right people in order to make this solution. The other one is serious transaction crime, and you can see here, you make a click, you will see what means that one. Example of where the risk could affect you. A principal or one of your suppliers has ongoing investigation for a major compliance violation, like the one that we saw already for the transportation in the port. The company of transportation was the one that they paid to different police during this transportation. They come from the ship, they get drugs, and when they cash in, the people they cash with the drugs, they call one of the judge, and the judge they don't stop him. So many things weird can happen there. The other one We are almost finished. The section and exclusions. This is another one. In section and exclusion is like what sort of suppliers could be engaged in this risk area. Any company that sells product or service may be restricted in trading with anyone in a sanctions list, which are produced by many governments under many different laws, regulation, and executive orders. So when we start making that one, you will see if this most of the companies that export parts to the States or wherever in any country is very is like a stake for the corruption system, and you can see some of the issues that some top manager of with a very prestige companies, very honest people, they is threat for one of the narcos, for the people from the narcotics. They say, if you don't accept to put drug in your containers, I will kill your family or I will kill your daughter. So that is so far to this one is some things that we had in some cases to have the opportunity to detect in some internal audits. But as you see, this one is based on the analysis of the behavior of the owner of the company when we start making questions. So that's why we need a very qualified auditors to know exactly, to know what to do in these cases. Fraud, money laundering, irregularities, like the example number 4 was a fraud, was money laundering, and irregularities with the drug cartels. In the export products, the one that I say, some of the containers of the very prestige companies are target for the corruption system. If we don't have right policies, and how to control and to accept the policy, the people, they will not know exactly what is followed. It has to be very clear. The policy has to be published, like I say at the beginning. The management system say clarify the policy. Everybody must be aware how effective is the policy. When you're talking about how effective is, how are you going to control for the risk performance indicators, like state-run companies, PT companies, law firms, lobbying groups and industrial association, trade unions. So any one of those kind sort of suppliers could be engaged in the risk area. Yeah. And the anti-competitive behavior is the other one that we can be able to say. Example of risk could be affect you. Your supplier is linking to be a narrow market where prices are commodities, or where there is a duopoly, o sea, monopoly. There can be a monopoly in this kind of thing, so we have to be aware of that one. Or this is a unique vendor. What sort of suppliers could be engaged in this area? Any supplier may be engaged in price fixing or collusion, but is like to be detected through companies that have similar pricing, or where there are sole biders in markets. That's why when we're talking about sole biders, that's why it's important to publish more than 3. Has to be at least to know that it's a bidding process. That is the one in Veracruz that we avoid, because all the bids was only for 3 companies. After we implement the system, after we implement the system, we reach more than 40 companies start working in order to anti-bribery system. And the last one is the last one. Please, this is one invitation. If you are interested, we are going to send through the Exemplar Global. Is going to publish, I guess, the exactly days when we are going to start making the anti-bribery methodology global forum. Just we are going to give the opportunity to those people that implement, those consultants and those companies, certification bodies that are certified and detect these kind of things. The idea is to participate and to show in this forum just real cases, not theory, just real cases. How much money we recover, how we could clean the image of positive good companies that was affected for the anti-corruption system. So you are welcome to be a member of the World Council Anti-Bribery Methods. It's a non-profit organization that you will later on through the Exemplar Global, you will see that one. Okay. Thank you so much. And if you want to see in detail, I put all the reference that you can go by yourself. Thank you.
And thank you, Marco Pardave, for that very thorough overview of anti-bribery methods for auditors and consultants. And that concludes this presentation.